Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys about something that I feel like people don't discuss enough, and it's almost a ridiculous topic. And it has to do with people just being so anti-TRT that they ascribe benefits to it that don't exist, to the point where people who wouldn't benefit actually talk about going on TRT. And here's what people need to understand. All right. If you go on TRT, that means testosterone replacement therapy, and you do not need it, you're not going to get benefits from it. Okay? And I want to be clear there. And people say, well, that doesn't make sense. So if I take a replacement dose of testosterone, whether prescribed by their doctor or not, if it's TRT, it's prescribed by a doctor. All right. So irrespective of whether the doctor gives it to you or not, the body doesn't care. Okay. Again, a medication has an effect on you irrespective of where you get it or why or the motive. Okay. Biology is still biology. Okay. Let's set that aside. If a person goes on a replacement dose of testosterone who is already producing testosterone, their body is not going to have the replacement dose plus natural production. Your natural production is going to drop. Okay, it works on a negative feedback loop. This is why people talk about things like post-cycle therapy, PCT, like people who use stuff who come on and off talk about that. That's why that whole concept exists. Why? Because the stuff they took made their body stop producing it. It works on a negative feedback loop. In the human body, all right, you ready for this? In the human body, when your brain and nervous system senses that you have elevated testosterone that's not supposed to be there, it just stops making it. It sends a signal to your testicles and stuff to stop producing testosterone because you don't need it. You already have plenty. If you have plenty, it will stop making it. So within a matter of weeks, and it won't be immediate, it might take a month. It might take 6 weeks for this to happen. But eventually, if you fully replace your normal amount, like you completely and 100% replace it, your body will drop to zero production. Now, if you only replace a small amount, like 50% of which your body is producing, it'll drop eventually down to about 50% production. It will try to maintain that homeostasis of where it thinks you're supposed to be. Okay? And this is lost on a lot of people who are like, oh, so yeah, all you did was suppress your production. The only thing you did is require yourself to get a shot frequently, to buy something, and then to make your body stop making its own. Because it doesn't need to, right? It doesn't have to. You've got plenty. It doesn't need to make any. It just stops. And this is not my opinion. This is not, something I made up. This is well understood. This was understood before I was even born, and I'm 46 years old. This is known in the scientific literature. This is even known in the lifting world. They figured this out decades ago. Like, oh yeah, that's kind of how it works. Okay, so are we clear there? So you're not getting a net benefit. There's no benefit. You have to go above replacement doses to get a benefit. Okay, so by that same token, someone who, say, puts double the amount their body produces in, they're not going to have triple. Their body's going to stop making it, and they're going to have double. And that will probably produce benefits. But the other doesn't. And here's the other problem. People say silly stuff. This is how ridiculous people are. This is how ignorant they are. Because this is truly ignorant. Okay, but you're not going to have fluctuations. So you're just going to have a constant level that stays there. You're not going to deal with fluctuations through the day, whatever. All right. There's no benefit to that. And I've had people who say that in response to this, and it's like, You are aware the evidence has not shown that to cause any muscle growth, right? Your body works just fine with those fluctuations. And keep in mind that replacement dose gives you an amount that's roughly equal to your net fluctuation throughout the day. It's just that you have it all the time instead of the same peaks and valleys. Now, there are some hypotheses that suggest that peaks and valleys might actually be slightly more anabolic, by the way. So if that hypothesis is true, then you're losing gains. Now, so that's, one hypothesis is that it would help gains. Another hypothesis is that it would lose gains. The evidence at this point suggests that neither one is right, or if they are, that it's too small to measure. So the net result is no, there doesn't appear to be a benefit. All right, a potential downside to where you could lose. In some cases, here we go. In some cases, when people have an exogenous amount, their estrogen goes up too high. Not always. And then they have to have it controlled. Okay, so let's come over to that. If your doctor has to prescribe you an AI to get estrogen back into range, as a general rule, AIs tend to drop you too low. That means IGF-1 goes down. So even if your testosterone is the same, but your estrogen is reduced, you will gain less muscle. Now we just got people upset. Let me state that again. If you have to go into a situation to where you have to have an AI on the replacement dose from your doctor, we'll assume it's from the doctor. Doesn't matter. I mean, the result is the same in the body. But we'll call it for legal purposes, from your doctor. And it lowers your estrogen to below your normal exact amount you produce, but your testosterone is now at your replacement amount, your total IGF-1 will go down, and you will possibly gain less muscle, even on the same amount of testosterone. So let's come back over to this point. This idea that TRT gives an advantage to healthy people is not true. This idea that it gives people who have a low amount and replace it, as long as they're still in the normal range, that it gives them an advantage over someone producing it, that's not true. Okay? There can be a very small advantage for people who are pushed up to the high end of the reference range. But I want to be clear here. It's not like a night and day difference. It's not, oh, they're going to gain muscle at double the rate. Okay, that's not going to happen. That doesn't happen in the normal physiological range, even in studies. That happens when you start doubling or tripling the normal range. All right, is everyone clear? All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.